Hello, awakened beings. Welcome to this channel. Here I do tarot and oracle readings to support you along your spiritual journey. If that interests you, feel free to check out any other content on this channel, as well as interact with this video as you feel called to. Today's reading is for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising, career messages and advice, anything you need to know relating to career. All right, so let's get started. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. We got Nine of Cups and Mother of Cups, which is a good card for you to get right away, because Mother of Cups to me feels like you're being in your energy. You know, your heart is open, you're able to care for others, nurture others, and, you know, lean into that natural quality that you possess. And I feel like you're enjoying that, or you're you know, there's no rocking of the boat. It's like the boat is fine, it's peaceful. Nine of Cups. What else? We have Five of Swords and Ace of Pentacles at the back of the deck. This could be a new venture, or you're interested in a new venture, or some new responsibility, a new task, a new role. Okay, so with the Ace of Pentacles, there's something new about it. It could even be a new connection. Maybe somebody new that you're working with, or just a new aspect of the same role. But there's this newness here that you're trying to get footing with or build upon. And it feels like it's being a little bit, or there's a challenge with that. We've got Five of Swords. And Five of Swords usually is like internal conflict. But it also can be a conflict with somebody else that leads to regret, oftentimes. Somebody being a little bit sharper with their words. And that really doesn't sit well with the Mother of Cups, I feel like. I feel like there's either like different types of communication here. Someone could be a little bit more blunt and direct, whereas the other person can just be more soft-spoken or soft-hearted in their communication. And so that could be like a barrier between two people. I also feel like somebody's being stubborn. Like Mother of Cups is trying to help out with something. And I feel like maybe the other person is not really heeding your words, and maybe stuck in their own way. Like I feel like somebody's getting in their own way. So I'm just reading energy here, so decipher which one is you, and you know, because you know your situation best. But I do feel like somebody is being hard-headed, so there could also be like children involved or a child involved. But it doesn't have to be that. It could be, you know, a straight-up adult who is just kind of being a little more stubborn, or in the way of their own progress. Because we do also have Six of Wands. And, you know, this is somebody who is coming from a background that could have been traumatic, or a background that taught them to be a certain way, and they don't want to be the certain way, but they just don't know how to change the pattern and do something different. And so, you know, they're wanting to become this butterfly and move forward, but they just don't know what to do with this baggage or with this hurt, and so they have it all bottled up and they don't know what to do with it. Confirmation here, Five of Wands. So I definitely feel like somebody's personal past is influencing or impacting relationship and career, related to career, or their perspective on their own capabilities. Clarify here. Isolation. Somebody could have come from like poverty or not a lot of money. So again, with cards, sometimes it's not about the word, it's about the imagery. And of course, like I said, I'm an energy reader. And with this suit, I'm getting that like somebody could have come from, more humble beginnings, not having as much, or just have this perception that you need to be better than what you are or clean up better. Like you don't have what you need, the resources you need to be presentable. Okay. I feel like there's an energy I'm tapping into, and they may feel like they get the short end of the stick. Okay, keep going. Hand of cards, yeah. Like I just said, okay, the short end of the stick, or like having a bad hand of cards, like being dealt a bad hand, something like that. So I feel like the energy that I'm picking up on is like there's a situation, excuse me, that I really feel like it's coming from a past wound, but it keeps showing up in your present because it hasn't been dealt with and released. So oftentimes this happens. So like I said, for some people who grow up in poverty and stuff like that, they develop a lack mindset, and then they grab onto money, and so they have a poor relationship with money, and they feel like they have to hold on to it, or that they're not capable of earning more. They live like a paycheck to paycheck. So basically, your past determines your relationship with money and finances and your outlook of career. So I definitely feel like somebody has, some traumatic or impactful past that just keeps surfacing into their present because they are having trouble releasing this wound. Peanut, please. Come on. Stop. And so this Mother of Cups energy, if this is, somebody else's story and you're being called to support them with that, give them an opportunity. I do feel that for somebody. But, it could be your energy that I'm picking up on. And so with that, let's try to get into some advice here. What's advice for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising? Enlightenment. Okay, definitely approaching your inner child. This really is taking some inner child work. And so with this Mother of Cups energy, yes, you can provide this to somebody else, but it's important to also provide it to yourself. And so I definitely feel like this, like I said, it's an inner child wound, and Spirit is communicating with this advice card here you have to address it. You have to, provide love, talk to your inner child, reframe that mindset. If your inner child thinking is coming up as, like I said, a lack mindset or, things like that, then you really have to assess that relationship that was built a long time ago and be able to reframe that for yourself. Provide this Queen of Cups energy, that nurturing energy, that comfort, that understanding, and really just face this head on. One more card of advice, please, before we move on. Service, of course. So let me figure out how to communicate this best. So the service card shows up when you're allowing yourself to be a vessel for divine will. When you are allowing the universe and, God, source, highest power to work through you and use you as an instrument to provide a service, to provide love, and spread that throughout humanity. Okay, so again, this is you, this Queen of Cups energy. And so there's a lot of fulfillment that comes when we do volunteer work, when we are of service to others, when we are, there's a lot of people out there who in their final moments, they have no family, they have no next of kin. There's a lot of lonely people out in the world. There's a lot of people who need resources. There's this world needs love and people to provide services, and it can be quite challenging to do that when you're focused on the self and what you lack and what you need, because then it can turn into like this competition for resources. Remember when there was this global thing that happened and people started buying up more toilet paper than they needed? It was because they were being selfish. They were worried about their own household, you could say. But at the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to say is like when you have a traumatic relationship with finances and resources, then you can become aggressive and more self-focused. And so with this service card, I really just feel like Spirit is communicating that a way for you to heal that and address that is of being service to others, and lean more into what you can provide, what you're giving, and what you get, the fulfillment you get through generous work and volunteering and support, things like that. Because then it doesn't feel so like you have to look. We have Five of Swords. I forgot this was even here. Five of Swords is a combative card where you feel like you're at war with others. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Five of Swords is a competitive card. Very cutthroat. Okay, so yeah, Spirit is saying that part of healing that wound is reframing the mindset of that, thinking that you have to compete for resources, and shifting it to fulfillment that you get by acknowledging with gratitude what you have. And then also there was this one thing. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm about to go off real quick. It's a short go off, but there was this video on TikTok where like this lady gave like $5,000 to the church or something like that, and then there was this one lady who gave like $1 and some change or something, but it was literally like what she could spare. And then like the preacher person, pastor, whoever, was just extremely ungrateful for that little bit of change that she could spare. So I mean, there's just a message in there of somewhere of like, being grateful for what you have, and even though you're giving a little bit, it still means a lot to somebody. So I don't know, this is your reading, you know what's going on with you, so take it how it resonates. And but I'm gonna give you one more card, and then that'll be that. Okay, here's your card. Let's see. Okay, it says invite spirit in. I'm going to read it from the book. You also have, hold on. You also have the number 3 here. Number 3 is about manifestation and collaboration. And really 3 to me is like the you're not alone card. So, or number, I mean. Okay, let me see. Okay, invite spirit in. As within, so without, and as above, so below, across all planes and dimensions of existence, every bit of knowledge and experience we possess helps to illuminate the mystery. Just as we know very little about gravity, other than describing it as the force that pulls two masses toward each other, so we may struggle to understand emotions, feelings, thoughts, even though we have names for those too: love, hate, joy, despair, courage, fear, and so on. On the spiritual plane, we experience a whole new dimension of the unknown. Spirit is pure mystery. Yet, like the forces we know in physics, its effects are visible and known. In the Gospel of John, we read, "The wind blows where it wishes, and you hear its sound, but you do not know where it comes from or where it is going." The third card in this suit, Invite Spirit In, calls you to be vulnerable, to drop your guard and let go of the need to know. In this space, you allow for Spirit to work its magic. Angelic beings and forces are on your side, supporting your growth and evolution for the good of all humankind. Gather up the faith of your heart and lift its vibration toward the light. What do we really know? Even if you don't have all the answers, do you realize how miraculous you are? Be liberated by the mystery of Spirit. Okay? So that is your reading. Thank you for tuning in, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And good luck on your journey.